Right, so the 55mm is on, 1.8 aperture is set, the background's blurred. That means it's time for a serious one-to-one with you guys, and today I am going to talk about why gear doesn't matter. A lot, because it does matter a little bit, but not as much as you probably think it does. Okay, let's go. Right, so this video comes about because obviously this channel is new. The only way I've promoted it so far is through my Instagram, and one of my Instagram followers who I met recently at a photography kind of group event thing commented, and I didn't realise, but he's a YouTuber. His name is Aaron Bernard, and apologies Aaron if I am pronouncing that wrong, but he has a YouTube channel. Obviously I'll link that below. And I went over and I checked out a video he did, basically talking about how he was going to buy a Sony A7III, and then he never did because gear doesn't matter that much, even though he did in the end. So I met Aaron at this photography walk, and Aaron, I assume won't mind me saying this, he's 16, he's young, and I saw him walk past with a brand new A7 III with a £1,000 Zeiss Batiste 85mm lens on it, and I was thinking, F me, this kid isn't messing about. And then, so when I watched this video of him talking about how gear wasn't that important, it reminded me that that is worth keeping in mind, especially when you watch a lot of channels, including this one, where the people who are talking to you have expensive gear. So, is gear important? Yes and no. There is no simple answer to this. The simplest way of putting it is that you can do amazing stuff on gear that is relatively cheap, like a second-hand DSLR, like the Nikon D5000 or 3000, whatever it is nowadays, or whatever the Canon equivalent is amazing piece of kit. You can do awesome work on that. So to put that into perspective, I'm going to throw up some images on the screen right now. So this first image, which I'm assuming is now in front of my face, so this was shot in Malaysia in 2014. It is the Langkawi Sky Bridge, and I shot this on a Nikon D5100, which you can probably get on eBay for like 50 quid nowadays, and the kit lens, an 18 to 55mm kit lens. So on a piece of kit which at the time was worth about £300–400, and nowadays you could pick up for probably about £100, I shot this image. Now, I'm not saying I'm Ansel Adams or this is the greatest shot of all time, but it's a solid 7 out of 10, at least, I would say, in anyone's book. Okay, so let's throw up the next image. There you go. So this image was shot on that same camera, the D5100, and I used the Nikon DX 35mm prime lens, which you can pick up for about 100–150 quid. And once again, this is old work of mine. I'm not saying it's amazing, but it's definitely not bad. And what's holding these images back certainly isn't the camera equipment, it's my technical ability, if anything. So let me throw up some more images. So these images are shot by a guy called Connor Rees, who runs a magazine called 99% Lifestyle, which is great, by the way, and I did an interview with them, so you should check that out. And all of these images were shot on a Google Pixel XL2. So, like, look how good these images are. They're shot on a phone. Like, honestly, you can get amazing image quality and amazing pictures regardless of what your camera is. The important thing is that you focus on your composition, your technique, and the actual skill behind photography. So does gear matter? As I said at the start, yes and no. It matters a bit, but not as much as you think. And if you're sitting around watching YouTubers or looking at people on Instagram and thinking, I can't do that because I haven't got the gear, you're probably wrong. You probably can do it on whatever you've got. You just need to get out there and practice. So if gear doesn't matter, then why do I spend loads of money on it? Well, gear does matter. It does make a difference. High quality lenses, high quality bodies are going to result in better pictures. But it's that diminishing return, you know what I mean? Like, will a £5,000 camera take a photograph that's 10 times better than a £500 camera? No. But if you love photography like I love photography, and it's my job to create the best possible pictures that I can, then I don't mind spending that ridiculous amount of money to get that marginal increase in quality. It doesn't mean I need it, it just makes things a little bit nicer. When gear is going to make the difference is when you're shooting in the most difficult situations. If you're outside on a beautifully sunny day shooting landscapes, then your kit lens is going to do the job, yeah? But if you're shooting a dark event like a wedding or a gig and there's no light and everybody's moving super quickly, then you're really going to start to struggle with cheap cameras and lenses that don't have a low aperture. And that's when gear comes in valuable. So you have to ask yourself, am I doing that? Am I the kind of person who's shooting a lot at night? Am I shooting a lot of moving subjects? Am I shooting subjects that are far away? Or am I just taking pictures of my family and friends, holiday snaps, etc, etc? Because what you do with your camera leads what kind of gear you're going to need, and how much gear makes a difference to it. If you're shooting in difficult conditions, then camera gear makes a bigger difference than if you're shooting in simple ones. So if you continue to watch this channel, it's likely I'm going to talk about gear. I'm going to talk about expensive lenses and expensive cameras, and that's all well and good. But if you sit there and you watch this, or you watch anybody else, or you look at anything and you get yourself down and you think there's no point me even trying to become a photographer because I can't afford the gear, then don't let that stop you. I was working on cheap DSLR cameras for years, absolutely for years, and it was fine. And eventually I got better kits because it's my job. Like, I don't mind investing into the work that I do. But if you're just getting into it, you don't need a full frame camera 3 months after you start. That cheap starter camera is going to do what you need it to do. You need to concentrate on becoming a better photographer and learning the skill set behind creating awesome images more than you need to worry about what gear you're using. So once again, I hope that this video was useful. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, comment and subscribe on the channel. It helps me know that you're here watching, and it encourages me to make more videos in the future. Until I see you next time, awkward goodbye, bye bye bye, see you in a bit. Don't worry about gear, don't worry about the bokeh. The bokeh's nice, but you don't need it, you don't need the bokeh.